Howdy folks, my name is Richie Procopio, aka Bog Otter, and welcome back to another video edition of the Flameseeker Chronicles. Today, the Bazaar of the Four Winds patch is going to land for Guild Wars 2, and yesterday I did a video preview of what to expect, but I thought today for the Flameseeker Chronicles I would go more into depth of just kind of talking through like what are the major points of the patch, what are my opinions on it, maybe a little bit of review, maybe a little bit of tips and tricks and stuff. So let's get to it, shall we? Okay, so the first thing you're going to do when you log in, you'll get a little in-game mail, and it's basically telling you some backstory about the Bazaar of the Four Winds. And you can actually go in Fort Mariner. There is a little living story instance that you can witness between Inspector Keel and Magnus, and they will basically, set up the living story part and the tie-in for this content. And then you can take a ship from the harbor there in Lion's Arch, and it will take you to a brand new zone called the Labyrinthine Cliffs. Now, this zone is all the way in like the southeast section of our world map, at least our known world map, and yeah, it's a really beautiful, very vertical zone. It's got ramps and almost like a shanty town houses. It almost kind of looks Canthan inspired in certain ways, but it's very vertical and it's very beautiful, and waterfalls, and it's right there on the ocean and stuff like that. And basically, it's a collection of merchants that get together every so often. There's some merchants that are on the level, and there's some merchants that are a little bit more shady. There's all kinds of objects to interact with, and some of them will spawn events if you touch the wrong thing, or you bother too many people. So there are events that happen in this kind of like city type environment. So there is fighting, there is combat, and there's there's new events to do. There's also a bunch of vendors that will trade you for terrestrial items, so like items that you find on the ground, right? Some, wood or those kind of things. And they trade you for these like Zephyr supply boxes. And the Zephyrites are a special Zen-like people, and they spend all their time up in the clouds, and they ride around on something called the Zephyr Sanctum. And this is a huge flying ship, and it is docked to be part of the Bazaar of the Four Winds. And so these Zephyrites want to trade crystals that they have from magical crystals that they have by harnessing the power of the sun, wind, and lightning, and they want to trade you those kind of crystals for the terrestrial items that they don't get to see very often because they spend all their time in the clouds. So it's kind of interesting. They're going to you can put mass amounts of wood and ore and cloth and stuff like that, and you'll get these supply boxes. When you open the supply boxes, they can give you quartz crystals, and they can give you new recipes for crafting and that utilize the quartz crystals and stuff like that. So it's going to have an interesting impact on the economy. All of these materials that we've been gathering and that we think are they don't sell very well on the trading post. All of a sudden they're going to be much more in demand because you can put mass quantities and trade them for these new recipes and stuff like that. So it should have an interesting effect on the economy. There's a lot of other things to do. Let's hit up one of the new mini games. It's called the Sanctum Sprint. Sanctum Sprint is a competitive race, right? You queue up, you go in, and you have new movement skills, okay? And you actually use these movement skills, the three that are used in the Sanctum Sprint, you use them while you're just walking around the Labyrinthine Cliffs zone. There are certain places you can't get to unless you use this Sun Dash, which allows you to, basically go the speed of light, and you can get through these waterfalls that otherwise impede your progress. There's a one that makes you jump really high, okay, and then there's one that allows you to kind of do a lightning tether. So there's these lightning little stations, and you can basically jump to them if you're nearby, or you can use a ground target thing, and it kind of like allows you to jump to a specific place. So you use these three skills all over the zone to try to get to different crystals that you see up. There's like the scavenger hunt that you have to collect these crystals, but these movement skills are also used in the minigame Sanctum Sprint. So you collect crystals while you're running this race, and that kind of powers your abilities. But you can also get these little like prize boxes, kind of like Mario Kart. They're basically special abilities, and you can use them to knock down your opponent or blind them, or even like you can actually teleport to the next checkpoint if you're really far behind. And it works just like Mario Kart in that if you're way ahead of the pack and you're like in first place in this race, you're more likely to get like a landmine, a fake present, basically, that you put down to hit people that are behind you, and if you're way behind, you're more likely to get power-ups that allow you to attack people in front of you or even skip ahead to a next checkpoint. And it's a lot of fun. The rewards at the end, it'll reward you for the place that you come in. The better you do, the more rewards. And yeah, I got some blue and green items, but I also got you get some quartz crystal that way, which is a new crafting material, a new crafting component, and you can also get the new kind of like dream catcher back pieces. There's 3 of them, one for sun, wind, and lightning. So you have a chance to get them from this race as well. It was a lot of fun. This is a really cool mini game. I think there can be a lot of strategy involved in learning the map and where are the shortcuts and how to use your power-ups effectively. So I can't wait to see what players think of this. It's not. I don't think it's going to be permanent content. It's not a permanent thing, and I know some people hate that. I'm kind of on the fence on that because I totally understand the wanting it to stick around as permanent content thing. But I think once I got the rewards from it and got the achievements from it, I don't know if I would run it again, or how often I would go there to run it. But if they take it out for a while and maybe like 6 months or a year later, they put it back in, I'm going to be like, oh, I remember that. I want to do that again. It's fun. So kind of on the fence about that. The next minigame I want to talk about is Belchers Bluff, and this one is going to be permanent content. It's interesting because you can go to, basically what it is an advanced game of rock, paper, scissors, and you can play it against other players, but that actually requires Belchers kits, right? You have to buy these kits, and then you can challenge other players with it. Or you can challenge NPCs, and there's a couple NPCs. There's one NPC for each race, and they're located in the home instances in the capital cities. So they're giving you a reason to actually go into those home instances. You challenge these masters of Belchers Bluff, and if you can defeat them, then you earn their signature skill, which gives you a new ability and makes it easier to beat other NPCs. And then when you finally beat all 5 of the racial masters, you can face off against a Hylic. I just kind of made that very guttural there. A Hylic called Poyaki, and Poyaki is he's in the new zone, the Labyrinthine Cliffs. And he's the Grand Master, and there's an achievement that you can get if you defeat him. And that achievement is going to be limited time because Poyaki's going to go away when the content goes away. But the rest of it is going to stay in as a permanent addition to the game. And basically how the game works is you're taking turns drinking Omnom berry juice that's chilled. Now, Omnom berry juice comes from ore, right? The Omnom berries. And it's kind of toxic. And unless you cook it, cooking it into a pie or something like that, it's toxic. So they're just chilling it and you're drinking it, and you're basically running out of stamina every time you have to drink it. So you have to intersperse bluffing in there. So sometimes you're going to drink it, sometimes you're going to bluff drinking it, and sometimes you're going to drink water instead to try to heal you a little bit. But if they belch at you, which is basically calling your bluff, if they belch at you when you're faking drinking or drinking water, then there's a penalty to it. So you got to kind of figure out when's the right time to actually lose some stamina legitimately or try to fake out the opponent and stuff like that. Honestly, playing against the NPCs wasn't overly fun. It was sometimes it was a little bit difficult to even beat some of them. And it's kind of like rock paper scissors. It could be mildly amusing for a little while, and I don't know. Maybe playing against other players is more fun. I didn't absolutely love this, but I do love the fact that they're giving you a reason to go to the home instances, and it's going to be a permanent addition to the game. Maybe after I unlock my signature skills and then start challenging some of my buddies, maybe that'll be a little bit more fun. But overall, it's rock paper scissors. So moving on, we have a new PvP map. It's called Skyhammer. It is Asura themed, right? So it kind of looks like a little bit like Radasum. This map is really cool, and you guys know that I'm not big into PvP, but I got to play around with some press in this and fight. And what I really loved about it is there's a lot of places to fall off and knock players off. And anytime your enemy falls off a cliff and dies, your team scores 5 points. So there's these like blue force field kind of floorboards, right? And they disappear periodically, and they create holes so you can knock people off there. The actual capture points, some of them are located right on the edge of the map, so you're trying to hold the point, but you can, if you outmaneuver the opponent, you can do a knockback and knock people off the ledge. There's also they use the jump pads that were in the Dragon Ball. The Dragon Ball, is that what it's called? You know what I'm talking about. The Dragon Dodgeball from the Dragon Bash. The jump pads from that are in this map, so you can leap onto different places. There's a lot of verticality. And the main feature, it's still a three capture point mechanic, but there is a Mega Cannon laser And if your team controls that, you can totally like obliterate like a huge section of people. Like you can aim it at one of the control points and just blast. So it's kind of like a trebuchet mechanic a little bit. The map looks gorgeous. It was fun for me to play. I don't know how it's going to measure up for those that are really into the competitive side. Is it going to be a map that can get into the competitive rotation or not? But I think players are really going to get a kick out of this, and definitely check it out. I also want to talk about probably the biggest overall feature for the game, and it's not content related, but the achievement system got a complete overhaul. They changed the UI, which is it's significant for a couple reasons. One is they added a summary page to the achievement screen. And now you can see your most recently gained achievements, which I think is huge because so often I would try to look up, what was that achievement I just got? I saw it pop up on the corner of my screen, but I was fighting. I don't know what that was, and I can't figure it out. I don't know what I just got. I just know I just got an achievement. But now you can look up the recently achieved achievements. That's dumb. And then on the other side, you can see which achievements are nearing to be complete. So you can use that as like a checklist of things to do next because you're almost done with them. So that's pretty cool. And then the whole achievement screen is organized differently where you can, there's less sections so you can, it's cleaner and neater. It's easier to find things. You can also select which things you want to track like normal, like the watched items, but there's a whole watched panel where you can just look at the things that you're kind of, you want to track right now. And the whole interface is all glitzed up and looks really cool and stuff like that. But there's also new rewards for achievements. There's actually a reward system now. So when you hit certain achievement thresholds, you don't spend it like a currency. You don't spend your points like a currency. But when you hit like 500 achievement points, 1,000 achievement points, 1,500, etc., you get rewards, and they're pretty significant. Now, what I like about the system, and I'm going to go into more detail in a minute, is that there's so many games out there, and I never understood this. Like, I love getting achievements just because I'm a completionist, right? But the fact that there's almost always this number associated with them, and you get this total, and the only use for this total is to compare it to your other buddies and go, oh, I've got like 1,200 more points than you, or whatever. It never did anything for me, that number. Now the number is significant in this game, and I think that's a really cool addition. Now let's talk about the rewards. For example, when you hit 500, you get like an achievement chest, and the achievement chest has stuff in it like boosters and gathering tools and convenience items, like the Merchant Express and different things like that. And you also get, for 500, if I'm remembering this correctly, you get 1 gold, 1 laurel, and 1% magic find added to your account. So it's account-wide permanent magic find. Hello, that's amazing. And then when you get to 1,000, it's a similar reward. It's like another gold, another laurel, another box, and you get like 1% to your gold find. And like each tier seemed to have gold find, magic find, experience points gain 1%, 1% karma gain as well. And they're tracked on the achievement panel, like what are your account-wide bonuses. So those percentage those will continue to go up, and it's for all your characters. So when you're leveling alts and stuff, you get these bonuses. I think that's really, really great. There's also weapon skins and armor skins, which are higher, more significant tiers. And these skins work more like the Hall of Monuments vendor, where you can just keep taking out skins. It's for your whole account. You don't have to use transmutation stones, to keep that skin. You just unlock it for your account, and boom, you just have at it. And so there's Zenith weapons and Hellfire armor and Radiant armor. Now the armor skins look really impressive. They have really cool particle effects on them, but you can't dye them at all. And they only have gloves, shoulders, and helms. But they really look really badass. So I'm really excited about this whole system. A lot of people, one of the criticisms that keeps coming up is, what's my incentive to play Guild Wars 2? What is there to really see and do? And which is kind of funny because they're pumping out content every 2 weeks now. But there are some motivation issues in there, and people have complaints. I talked last week or 2 weeks ago about rewards, right? We need more rewarding activities in the game. Well, here we go. Here's the first step towards that. This gives you, even if you're not doing the new content, you want to just, complete all the dungeons or explore all the jumping puzzles or get map completion or get wins in PvP. All these different things can get you achievement points, and now you're working towards a greater reward, right? My one hope is that they don't just put the system in and they don't frequently add to the reward system, right? They keep having to bump up these tiers to give you more and more carrot to follow to make it so that when you hit 8,000 or 9,000 achievement points, you don't look at what's coming up and go, I don't really want anything there. But I think this is a great step in the right direction, and I'm super excited. Now, I will tell you one thing. Let's say you already have like 5,000 achievement points. You're not going to log in today and get day one all these rewards. What they're going to do is they're going to give you one makeup chest per day until you catch up to your achievement point total. And I really think the reason why they're doing this is because some people would literally log in and have like 20 chests to open. They would have a whole bunch of skins to have to choose, which weapon skin am I going to choose this time and whatnot. And it would just be a little bit overwhelming. Some players would totally love that and like, I want all my stuff now! But I think it would be overwhelming to have all these pop-ups come up in chests, and your inventory would be full and you wouldn't know where to put stuff, and you'd be afraid, like, okay, am I going to lose this stuff if I don't have inventory room? Calgon, take me away. So I think that's why they did that. So don't panic. If you only get one tier of rewards today, you'll get another one each day that you log in. So overall, this patch is jam-packed. It really looks cool. A lot of new activities. Go check out the new zone. There's Living Story. There's like a fire-breathing Quaggan show. There's a new goggles achievement to, it's called the best dive ever. That's really fun. There's so much stuff that I haven't even covered. But, you go into the game, explore it for yourself, and check out all these cool rewards. So that's going to wrap things up for today. I hope you enjoyed the Flameseeker Chronicles. Keep yourself locked and dialed in to Massively.com for all your MMO news, and I'll see you next time. Take care.